In this episode, I get sucked into the Reddit vortex to understand why brands aren't battling their way onto the platform. Is it safe? How is it used? Are brands even on there? It gets pretty weird, so if you haven't got the stomach for it, turn away now. You've been warned. Well, it's lockdown 2.0, and seeing as I'm flat bound for the remainder of the month, it's time to take my next investigation online and unravel one of the web's biggest enigmas, the internet's front page. A platform that's widely regarded as the least known but most influential site on the internet. Reddit is the 7th most popular website worldwide. It's valued at $3 billion and has, most importantly, an incredibly cute little robot as its logo. Isn't it adorable? The platform is a sprawling collection of forums where its users, that are known as Redditors, form communities around specific interests, anything from politics to polyamory, and in GOAT terms, it's niche content to niche audiences at scale on steroids. So why aren't brands scrambling over themselves to get on board? Is it because it's known as the Wild West of the internet world, one of the trickiest platforms to crack? Well, I think it's time that I enter the eye of the storm myself. I just don't have an account yet. Day one of me becoming a Reddit user. Sign up. Here are some suggested usernames. No Protection 8293. That doesn't sound fun. I quite like Sweaty Tangerine. Let's go for it. It's a strong username. I need an image, I think. Does such a thing as a Sweaty Tangerine exist? Oh, hell yeah. It turns out that on Reddit you can be entirely anonymous. Call yourself Ghostface or Baron von Schlaff II. Not only that, verified accounts aren't a thing. That would go against the whole philosophy of anonymity. So whilst a mega brand like Adidas can be a user, the r/Adidas subreddit is actually run by these guys, who I'm guessing aren't actually affiliated with the brand. Back to the show. Find communities by topics you're interested in. Anarchy 101 joined already. So immediately upon signing up, you're hit with suggested pages. There's another anarchist group. It's been going through my search history. Let's just join some. Artifact porn, graffiti, male fashion advice, dad jokes, shower thoughts, contagious laughter. Who doesn't want a bit of that? These are all individual groups of interest, little clusters of like-minded people. Confession, piercing, tip of my tongue. Can't remember the name of that movie you saw when you were a kid? Or the name of that vid? Yes, I've got a question for that. Well, tech sucks. Well, that sucks. Well, that's amazing. Well, that's okay. Well, that's fake. Well, that's odd. Well, that's stupid. Well, that's depressing. Well, that's relatable. I'm going to join them all. Join. Let's turn up that brightness. Whoa, that's bright. You can hop from feet to toes to toenails to toe sucking, the thriving community of toe sucklers. And anyone can create a subreddit. Anyone. I can create one right now if I wanted to. And I might. About vlogging. Does a vlog subreddit exist? See, you got to be smart. You got to jump on these things before they're a thing. No, go away LinkedIn, you old boring platform. I'm a Redditor now. Vlog already exists. 13,183 members. So does Vlogger and Vlogging and Vlog Brothers. Join. Now, at this point, the thought of 138,000 subreddits that were active and engaged with social ecosystems was a little bit overwhelming. So I reached out to 2 Reddit experts from the other side of the world to help me better navigate the platform. Is there any point where I'm going to get to that I'm going to be like, yes, I understand Reddit?
I don't think anybody can do that. Reddit's really about community, and it's about, if you've got a hobby or an interest, like you can generally find a subreddit that revolves around that.
And it kind of makes you feel like you're not alone or crazy for kind of really liking this one thing. Maybe there's an obscure band that you're really like, but none of your friends are into it, but you kind of want to talk about it. Guaranteed there's a community on Reddit that are talking about it, and it gives you like an outlet to do that. So that's why there are so many hundreds of thousands of communities, because it's every small little aspect.
I've always said if you have a hobby or an interest or a fetish, there's a subreddit out there for you.
Oh, whoa, let's slow down. Hold on. You said fetish.
No, seriously. Type in any body part and probably it'll come up as some sort of fetish subreddit. There is that side of Reddit too, which... I pretend not to know much about.
Yeah. I would say it's like a microcosm of the internet in its entirety, right? Like there's so much on the internet, and you can go on the internet and see nothing of substance whatsoever. But that doesn't mean there are not amazing pockets out there on the internet of like dense, interesting information. And Reddit is that in, I guess, a smaller volume, even though it still has expansive knowledge. Like you can spend a whole day in Reddit and see nothing of like any substance, or you can go deep diving and find kind of exactly what you were looking for.
For people that don't understand the difference between Reddit and Instagram and Facebook and all the others, what is the main difference between them?
in a soundbite, I guess it would be Instagram is look at me, and Reddit is kind of look at this.
Yeah.
Like it's this weird thing where you're bringing it to someone and being like, what do you think of this? This is weird, isn't it? This is kind of cool. And people go, yeah, that's kind of cool. Which is why, like, let's take the Kardashians for an example, right? Very, very popular on Instagram because they are very, very good at self-promotion and getting people to look at them. But Reddit is the inverse of that, where it's all about showing people other stuff that I don't think that they would necessarily translate to the other platform.
Like, hey, look at the Kardashians.
Yeah. If someone said, hey, look at the Kardashians, perfect.
Yeah.
But
if the Kardashians are saying, hey, look at me, then you save that for Instagram.
We'll be hearing from these guys again a little bit later in the video.
Each subreddit is completely different. You develop your own rule books. We do not tolerate pictures or videos of naked humans with or without Lego. If you ask why meteors land in craters, you'll be banned forever. Don't even joke about it. Their own culture, their own etiquette for engagement. God, it's fascinating. And then you have this cross-platform etiquette that springs up by itself, like wishing someone a happy cake day in the comments, prompted by Reddit adding a little green cake next to your name if it's the anniversary of you joining. I found someone whose cake day it is. Happy cake day, you legend. 1 year old today. I've spent quite a few hours now browsing the different subreddits, and it's kind of strange how much of an identity they actually exude when you hop from page to page. Take r/anarchism for example. It's just a bunch of anarchists showing their disdain for oppressive systems of state tyranny. They've got their black aesthetic, a big slogan from the 60s French protest movement, beneath the pavement, the beach, and a feed full of anarchist video content, discussions on the philosophy of anarchism, and curiously as well, they have quite stringent rules on the sidebar. Doesn't seem that anarchistic to me, but I'm a mega anarchist.
So who exactly are these rule-setting moderators? And what do they actually do?
Every community that you're talking about, at least a vast majority of them, have a select few people who decide that they want to be the arbiter of what is in that subreddit. And sometimes the rules can become pretty strict or like very specific is maybe a better example. And as soon as someone can cotton onto the fact that no one that is a moderator is online, it's kind of like the substitute teacher mentality, which means that like as soon as one person gets a whiff of it, they let it be known that the mods are asleep. And people will start bombarding with everything that they know that the mods would generally reject.
Who are these moderators? I know that they are just average users, but to suddenly find yourself in control of 20 million people, is there such thing as a professional moderator?
Especially on the really big subreddits, there's a certain amount of like responsibility for becoming a moderator. And they do have things like, oh, hey, if you want to be a moderator, you can apply to the mods that are currently exist, and they will like essentially interview them and look at their post history and see what type of Redditor they are. Moderation is really interesting on Reddit because you can just be anyone to come up with any rules of what you want the subreddit to conform to. It can totally make or break a subreddit. For an example, I always think of is the subreddit Shower Thoughts, which is a really big community. They have a rule that says you can't use the word I or me in a shower thought because they want the conversation to sort of be open. Like just changing the language ever so slightly.
There's one here from Spatial Flow. They said a bartender's job is to poison people. Where that could have been, my job as a bartender is to poison people.
Yeah.
But then that becomes very, very specific to them rather than like a universal truth, so to speak.
It closes the conversation down to like their world.
Yeah.
Rather than a bartender in general.
So if the moderators maintain order in their individual subreddits, how does the best content from all the posts on all the different forums get seen?
So the mechanism that really underpins Reddit as a platform are these two buttons that Redditors have, the upvote button and the downvote button, and it's easy to imagine what they do. So if you go onto a thread like I'm doing now, you can see that the top comment on any thread has been upvoted the most. And usually that means that that comment is the funniest or the smartest or the most useful. And you just have to do some clicking around to find out that that is true. It's the best at the top, and then as you go down, the quality kind of decreases. It's a very democratic system. And then the most upvoted content on all the different subreddits makes it to Reddit's home feed, the front page of the internet itself, for everyone to marvel at.
And guess who's managed to do just that? Sadly not me, but my very own boss, you/T Freaky Freeman.
Merry Christmas a month early to you.
I know, right? I went for it. I just thought, 'tis the season.
You do you.
Me do me, yes.
If I remember correctly, you have made it to the Reddit homepage before.
About 3 years ago when Sherlock first came out, there was obviously a lot of buzz around it that first week. Everyone was Cumberbatch crazy. I was doing some work at the BFI and I bumped into the guy that plays Moriarty, took a picture with him, put it up on Reddit, and that went to the top of the Sherlock subreddit. And then because it was something that was being talked about a lot generally in the world, it got pushed to the front page of Reddit.
Have you ever lived up to that experience?
After such giddy success like that, you want to be careful that you don't go off the rails,
For some reason, the fact that I've only got one karma point is really boiling my blood.
Karma points are earned when Redditors upvote your comments or posts.
I know they have as much practical use as a chocolate teapot, but I think it's time for me to interact with some subreddits and maybe boost that number a bit. How do I start? Rate my nude body, rate my rack. Oh my god. Rate my poo, of course. Why is that one on the kitchen counter?
FYI, diving in headfirst to obscure subreddits will toss up a few curveballs. Discretion advised.
Rate my tea, 15,000 members. I can get on board with that. Forum for all things celebrating the wonderful elixir of life known as tea.
Upload a snap of your steaming brew in a charming setting, and people might just appreciate it.
I got my first upvote. r/roast me. The thicker the skin, the better the roast. I've got thin skin. What you do is you post a photo of yourself, and then you put sort of some slightly arrogant comment, and then you just get slaughtered in the comments. I mean, oh my god.
Yep, I actually went ahead and posted this photo to be willingly ripped apart by anonymous strangers online, but you'll have to wait until a little later to see how that goes down. It's not very nice.
I also just posted our last documentary in multiple vlog groups. Bit of shameless self-promotion can't hurt, can it?
If you go onto Reddit to say, promote yourself or a product or something that you're doing, is that okay?
Self-promotion is kind of seen as dishonest. If you went on and you just said, hey, look at my videos, this is what I've done, maybe you might not necessarily get downvoted. Depends how much you try to hammer it into people, I think.
Reddit, it doesn't mind you being proud of something you've done. And there are times when people say, look, I've drawn this picture and I'm really proud of it. And they'll post it. And that's fine. It's when people think you're trying to manipulate their community into something that is kind of just like flagrant self-promotion, and you are posting in a bunch of different categories. You're saying, please go and like and subscribe, and you're just trying to use people to do something for you. That's when people start turning.
It's that honesty system. You kind of just need to come in with the idea that like, oh, you might like this, you might not, but I've just had fun doing it, kind of thing,
It's seen as like a precious ecosystem. And if somebody could do it, then everybody could do it. And it would eventually become nothing but people self-promoting whatever thing they're trying to make money off, or the new song that they've released that they're trying to get to the top of the charts. And it would essentially ruin the ecosystem that's been created of like wholesomeness and sharing things randomly and whatnot. So I think that people are very protective of that.
So self-promotion is a no-no, and that's quite obvious when you do a bit of digging. I mean, even celebrities doing AMAs, a hugely popular interview forum that's drawn the likes of Barack Obama, Trump's done one, major celebrities, Madonna. They descend into chaos if they can whiff that the person doing it is just there to promote their new film or their new book or their new track. Woody Harrelson's one's gone down in folklore. Hey, it's Woody here. I'm in New York doing interviews for my new film, Rampart. He puts it out front and center. The most upvoted comment on this thread? Question to Mr. Harrelson's PR guy, what are you planning to do with all the free time you'll have now? So it's ruthless. You do run into quite a lot of ads as you're scrolling. Not too many, but they do pop up every now and then. Just a little promoted post. They don't look that different. So that advert was obviously posted by this Microsoft account, Microsoft_Surface, their new product. You can see they haven't posted anything. They've got a lot of karma, probably because they post loads of ads, but no engagement. But people are talking about products on Reddit. PlayStation, for example, it has nearly 500,000 members. There are so many memes about deliveries being postponed or going wrong. All of this UGC in one place. You do obviously get it on other platforms, but 500,000 people talking about nothing but PlayStation. It's so focused. And obviously people that are members of r/PlayStation are going to be big fans. So the things that are going to be upvoted to the top are going to be largely positive. So as much as brands aren't front and center on Reddit, the community is kind of doing the work for them by talking about their products. But PlayStation is a behemoth.
So UGC is a great way to get people talking about your brand, and PlayStation clearly have that down to a T. But for other brands that don't have award-winning consoles coming out, making inroads on Reddit can be difficult. What do brands do if they want to get on board with Reddit? Because, I mean, it's one of the most used websites in the world. You have people siloed into communities. Like, are brands just idly watching? Are they on there? Have they infiltrated?
There's been, some history with brands on Reddit. One of the most common ones is EA Games. They put in some microtransactions, I think, with Star Wars Battlefront. It wasn't the post itself, I think, but it was EA company replying to just a comment.
I don't think I need to point out just how much this flimsy response reeks of complete and utter bullshit.
This comment became the most downvoted comment in Reddit history because people hated it so much that this, greedy company was trying to justify why they were trying to get a little bit more money out of every single person that played the game.
This has recently got into the 2020 Guinness Book of Records.
Doesn't surprise me.
It just took the most downvoted comment of all time for them to go, interesting.
So EA were really trying to defend and promote their game, and whilst it went horribly, horribly wrong, it did bring about change, and it shows just what a great platform Reddit is to have an open dialogue with your consumers and find out what they actually want, and that seems like a no-brainer. Even content creators are utilising it.
How vain is that? I'm on my own subreddit going, you're just soaking up my own vibes.
The smartest cookies in the YouTube world use it as a side chick to their primary platforms to deepen engagement with fans, and if you're someone like PewDiePie who has 3.4 million members on his Reddit fan page, why wouldn't you?
Reddit review. I like how everyone just stopped complaining about these. Finally, you've accepted it. This is just part of the channel now.
There is still this idea of like, well, you're a corporation and we don't want to inherently, give you the idea for the next tea bag that's going to earn you $1 million. Is that a thing?
You know the tea industry well.
Is that it? Yeah. What it really is for brands is that you just have to change the conversation that you have with people. It's way, way different to any other platform I know of.
If I had to put like my marketing hat on and think of where it might succeed, is that like it's going to need to evolve. Like at the moment, I think, let's take Facebook, right? That's been established for a long time. And a company can just say, here's a picture of our product. And people will say, great, I love the product. But that isn't going to translate. Just like if you were to post onto TikTok, like TikTok's got a very specific thing that people like about that platform. You can't just post a regular, the dances and whatnot. You can't just post a picture of your product. You're going to need to make something specifically for it if you want it to succeed. Let's say someone's like a guitar manufacturer. They could probably post pictures of their guitars on other social media. If you do it on Reddit promotionally, it's not going to go well. But maybe if you had a video, this is how we make our guitars step by step or something like that, that is actual Reddit content first and an ad second, that is the only way that an ad will ever kind of get through the filter of community that is Reddit. And brands tend to be kind of like obviously controversy averse, but that means that they don't necessarily like to be too jokey because if people are offended, that's bad for them. But you kind of can't afford to be too straight and narrow when you're trying to navigate a platform like Reddit. People will smell it a mile away.
Well, you can't be on one end or the other, I think. You can't be like, hey, we're one of you. You don't come in like that. But you also can't be on straight and narrow.
You guys could be hired as consultants for brands looking to get on Reddit because they don't understand it. You guys understand it. You could make some serious money.
I still think like Reddit is in its infancy for brands. So it's going to take a lot of failures and a few successes for people to work out exactly what's right. So I could consult for people for a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't feel confident in doing it just yet.
Now for the humiliating part. Drum roll, please, because I'm about to get roasted.
37 comments. Can't read that one. Definitely won't say that one. I'm going to pretend that doesn't exist. That's creative. That's not suitable. We have a smattering of insults that I can read. It's like your arms just grew out your neck. I'm honestly just impressed that a giraffe can use Reddit. You look like every Eastern European basketball player called Draco or Blago. Feminem, you look sad, excited and dead all at the same time. You look like you deal drugs while standing outside raves. I mean, yeah, I feel victimised, but I did ask for it, so... But this really shows that Reddit is a territory where you either conquer or get conquered. Our brand's ready to be well and truly roasted because it's the one platform where you don't control your own narrative. It's a no man's land for brands. It's a no brands land. And are they ready to take the plunge? Let us know what you think in the comments, and thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week when we're out of lockdown. We can go outside and run about and do exciting things. So thank you and goodbye.
We host a podcast. It's called Reddit on Reddit.
The artwork of our podcast is the Reddit orange, and we have the Reddit logo. And there are people that were under the illusion when they started listening that we were the official Reddit podcast. And we just want to say to everyone listening, don't correct anyone if they think that.
On my LinkedIn, I say that I'm employed by Reddit Inc.
The web of lies is going to start falling apart as soon as this video comes out.